For those of you who missed this week's episode of the Shadowspark Chronicles, here's what happened. The group starts out standing in front of a giant toad named Ogobogo, waiting to be judged worthy by the group known as the Forgotten. One by one, they find themselves privately questioned and tested on what type of person they really are. All pass except Marslin, which forces him to be exiled from the Forgotten. The group keeps their promise and agree to help with the Lightwalker situation, so Crow volunteers to take them to the building that the Lightwalkers have set up and returns to her people. The group rests in a small camp inside an empty building to recuperate and stake out the building for any activity. After about an hour, with no sign of the cult, they decide to venture in. They encounter two individuals in robes, and the building has been cleaned and put back together somewhat. Bishop thinks he has locked them both in their rooms, and they continue their search of the building. On the way back to the main hall, one of the cultists wakes to find herself locked in and yells out, waking the other sleeping cultist. Unfortunately, his door was not as secure, and he walks out. After a brief conversation, Bishop knocks him out and places him back in his room. The female says she will give information on Caldera Stout and that they've been working for her for some time. It is discussed and they release her. She leads them to some documents on shipments and contracts with Caldera's name all over them, more evidence to present to the Queen on Caldera's involvement in making Myriad's kiss. They pay her and tell her she and her companion should leave as quickly as possible. Before going, she tells them how the Lightwalkers have been coming and going from Old Smyrna. The group continues towards the library in search for Gaz's book and stumble across a large temple. Chanting can be heard from within, and Marslin sees a ritual being performed and decides to interrupt it, causing them to cast the wrong spell. The cultists flee from the temple, but now a new threat faces our group as a devilish creature has been conjured and attacks our group. So far, things do not look good for our band of adventurers. Please join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we continue with the adventures of the Shadowspark Chronicles. And as always, we will see you in the dungeon.